Hey guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, the Bright Side girl, and today we are doing my giant, ridiculous March book haul. So, normally I film my haul videos around the 17th of the month, and then I post them somewhere around the 20th through the 28th because I prefer my February book haul to come out in February rather than March. So I don't necessarily wait until the end of the month. I do from the 15th to the 15th, if that makes sense. But I'm filming this today on March 4th because between February 17th and March 4th, I have collected over 50 books. If you are new to this channel, hi. Welcome, first of all, to my giant book hauls because I am able to find books super cheap. There are lots of used bookstores and library bookstores. Most of them are $1. Sometimes I even find them for $1. So this giant book haul was around $35. So if you're worried about my finances, don't. I have a video on book budgeting. I'll post down below in the comments. So there are two reasons why this haul was just so much bigger. One was that I hit up 2 book sales I have that I go to every month that are close to my house. So there are 2 library book sales, and there's one at the end of the month and one at the beginning of the month. We also had an extra one at a different library, so there were 3 book sales that I went to in that 2-week period. Also, one of my good friends from back home in Kansas City recently moved to California, to Orange County, and I went to have coffee with her. Orange County is where I moved from a few years ago. It's about an hour from me now, so I don't get to go there as often. So I hit up a lot of my old stomping grounds, and I hit up 4 used library bookstores on the way home, and I just found a ton of stuff. I don't know what it is. It's the book fairies giving me book fairy love. The young adult books just don't leave as quickly, and at least from what I'm seeing from these used bookstores, or the turnover rate is just super high. I don't know what it is, but they had all the good stuff and I got it all. I actually wound up getting more than this, but I wound up trading a bunch of them for other things, so you'll see that soon in a trading video, because I do young adult swapping and trading as well. As per usual with my book hauls, I'm not going to do a lot of descriptions. 1, because I have over 50 books and that would take forever, and 2, because I don't always know a lot about the books that I get. Just FYI. Also, I did not forget, I will be unhauling 1 book for every 3 books that I purchased, and that will be coming out in my summer unhaul video. I think the spring unhaul detox video will be up here shortly. So I am gonna have to unhaul quite a few books because I only hauled 2 books that I have read. So I made a rule at the beginning of the year that I have to unhaul 1 book for every 3 books that I add to my TBR to keep my TBR somewhat in control. So without further ado, we're just gonna dive right in with all this ridiculous book madness. Here we go. Most of these I picked up at library bookstores that are connected to the library where the books are donated. A few of them I got at Goodwill's, and a couple I got at the Dollar Tree. I'll try and point those out once they kind of come up. None of these are new releases. So if you're here for new releases, then you shouldn't be, because these are all older books. Okay, first up, I got Steadfast by Claudia Gray. This is a spellcaster novel. I don't know if this is book 1 or book 2 in her series. I have a lot of Claudia Gray's books, so I finally need to read one this year, but these are witchy reads, and the girl has sparkly hair, so. Found a copy of The Crown's Fate. This is my second copy of The Crown's Fate because I traded it last year for a different book, but I always kind of wanted it back because I have The Crown's Game and I want to read that, so I picked up this one by Evelyn Skye. Fantasy, somewhat similar to the Night Circus. Slender Man, this is actually a somewhat new release. Came out last year. I really honestly picked it up because this cover is so creepy and scary, and I found it when we were on our cruise. I saw it in a bookstore and I kind of wanted to get it, but I waited and I found it recently for 50 cents. But this is just some kind of scary horror fantasy. It might be too scary for me because I've heard people have kind of been talking about it. This is an adult book, so I'm going to save this one for maybe Spookathon. Found A World of Ink and Shadow by Lena Coakley. Think historical fiction fantasy. Picked up Perfect Ruin by Lauren De Stefano. Don't know anything about this. I picked it up because I read Lauren's Wither series last year, Wither, Sever, and something else. And while I didn't love the series as a whole, I did really like her writing style. It was just really engaging, and I wanted to try something else from her. So I have a couple of other books from her now, but this is just one on the list. Super excited to find Wonderstruck by Brian Selznick. I recently read The Invention of Hugo Cabaret. I read that last month, and I wanted to read more from Brian because he does these amazing heavily illustrated novels, and they're just so engaging and so cool. I don't know what this one is about at all. I thought this was like the second Hugo Cabret book just because of his art style, but it is not. It is a separate novel, and it's like reading a movie, and it's really cool. Picked up an arc of The Speaker, book 2 of Sea and Ink and Gold. I have book 1, which is The Reader. I happened to find this beautiful arc, and I do, again, want to read this series at some point. Let me know down below if you guys have read this in the comments, and I might like bump it up on my TBR. Only nonfiction and random book that I picked up. This is The Island of Lost Maps, a true story of a cartographic crime. So it just sounds really cool, and I like maps, so this might be one that like Jeff and I will read together, but it was a quarter. I picked up Stags by M.A. Bennett. This came out last year and it had a cool cover, and it's about a fraternity or a sorority or maybe both. I don't really know anything about it. Let me know if you do. Found The Christmas List by Richard Paul Evans. He writes a lot of little Christmas romance and Christmas holiday themed stories, which I am a huge mood reader and a huge seasonal reader, and I love those kinds of things. I'm hoping that these are not too like depressing, because a lot of Christmas stories are really depressing, but I have a couple other ones from him, so, and it's so shiny. Oh, I found A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin, and it's so heavy. This is the hardback. I have almost a full collection of the paperbacks of the Game of Thrones series. This is like book 5. I prefer to have the paperback, but this was like 50 cents, and I am reading a Game of Thrones right now, so I thought I'd have it on hand just in case. And I can't decide once I finish reading them if I want them in hardback on my shelf or I want to keep the paperbacks, because I kind of like the big floppy paperbacks too. So, but this guy is he's a beast. I found The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. Look at this beautiful cover. Oh my gosh. I unhauled this last year at some point because I wasn't going to read it for that Halloween, but I probably will read it during this Halloween. This is like a Jack the Ripper urban fantasy. The Cage by Megan Shepherd. This is the author of A Madman's Daughter, which was one of my all-time favorite books and series, and I want to read something else by her, and this is like a weird dystopian where like mayor's daughter wakes up in a zoo, like a human zoo, something like that. I don't know. Found The Murk in the Midnight Hour by Jane Nickerson. This is the second book in the Strands of Bronze and Gold series, and I don't know anything about it. So there's that. Found this tiny 7 Tears into the Sea. I thought it was an arc, but it's not. I was hoping this was a mermaid book because I had it on my list, but I think it's a Selkie book, so like humans that turn into seals or seals that turn into humans, which is interesting as well. So I probably will read this in the summertime, and it's so cute and little. Kind of funny. I picked up Torn and Torn. This one is by Amanda Hocking. This is part of her Trill novel, and I think this is also a fairy series, which I'm like really into fairies right now. I could be wrong on that, so correct me below. This Torn, again, I think is a fairy series, but I'm hoping it's a mermaid or a water sprite series, because I think I heard something about that. All of them have these beautiful like underwater covers, so I'm thinking there might be some mermaid love in here, but I've never read a Jennifer L. Armentrout book before, and I figured mermaids was probably a good place to start. Incantation by Alice Hoffman. Alice Hoffman is the writer of the Practical Magic book or series. I'm not really sure. All of her books are really magical and, I don't know, whimsical, and I haven't read anything by her yet, but I have 2 of her books down. This was just such a beautiful, tiny little book, so adding it to the list. Super excited to find Slate House by David Mitchell because, oh my gosh, look at that cover. This one I attempted on audiobook for Spookathon, and I just couldn't get into it. I was trying to read too many things at once. It was about like a creepy house, and the house does something to the people. I don't know, I just really liked the cover and I liked the concept, and I think it's middle grade. I found Scorched by Mary Mancusi. I saw a dragon and I bought it, and then I undid the dust jacket, and oh my gosh, it's so gaudy and terrible, but also so cool. It feels like dragon skin, and I loved it. I don't know. More dragon books. Picked up The Princess Bride. This is like the movie edition by William Goldman. I just found out last year that this was a book. I didn't know that it was a book, and I do want the prettier version right now at like Barnes & Noble and Target, but I do want to read this one hopefully with my husband because we love the movie because we're 90s children. Picked up Black Widow Red Vengeance. I think this is book 2 by Margaret Stohl in the Black Widow series from Marvel, whatever. I don't know. These covers are really cool. I do like Black Widow as like a character overall, and I have the other book in this series. Now I have a bunch of retellings and fairy tale retellings and things. I'm really excited that I found all these. So I found The Hostage Prince by Jane Yolen and Adam Stempel. I don't know if this is a retelling, but I know it has something to do with fairies because it's called The Seelie Wars, and Jane Yolen does a lot of retellings and things, and she's a pretty popular author, so I am adding this one. Princess of Glass by Jessica Day George, Cinderella retelling. Super excited to find Sisters Red by Jackson Pierce. This is like a Snow White and Rose Red retelling. I've been looking for it for a long time. Snow White is some of my favorite retellings. Fairest by Gail Carson Levine, who also does a lot of retellings. This is another Snow White retelling. A Kiss in Time by Alex Flynn. I think this is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, something like that. Red Riding Hood by Catherine Hardwicke. This is what the newer movie, the new-ish movie, was based off of. So it's a retelling of Red Riding Hood. Sadly, I already know the story because I've watched the movie, but I actually really liked the movie, even though a lot of people didn't. So excited to read this, and it has such an amazing cover. Found Cloaked also by Alex Flynn, who also does a lot of retellings. Again, I think this is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. I'm not entirely sure. We shall see. Then, not a retelling, but this is a fairy book. I don't think it's a retelling anyway. This is called Black Pearls of Fairy Strand by Lois Hawks, or Louise Hawks. Yes, it's a bunch of fairy tale retellings, and they're supposed to be like super creepy and with fairies in them, and it looks amazing. Picked up The Lost Girls, a novel by Lori Fox. This is a Peter Pan retelling. I don't know if it's like gender reversal, like if Peter Pan's a girl or if they're all girls that are with him or whatever, but I'm loving me some Peter Pan retellings. Okay, now I have a contemporary stack to share with you. Yay! I found The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I've only read And the Ocean Was Our Sky by Patrick Ness, and I didn't really like it, but this one has always appealed to me, so excited to have it. Wintertown by Stephanie Emond. It's like a mix of a novel and a graphic novel because there's like a lot of illustrations and things in here, and I wanted to read this winter, and I don't really know what it's about. I just know that it has these like amazing art pieces in here, and it just looked so wintry and fun. Got The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. I am actually 60 pages into this book, and I'm thinking about DNFing it purely just because it's just not doing much for me, but I'll talk about that in my March wrap-up. So I will have either read this or DNF'd it by then, which means I'll probably unhaul it. Yay! Found Dress Codes for Small Towns by Courtney Stevens. This is Kayla over at Books and Lala's favorite book. This one in the Raven Cycle, and I have a goal to read my favorite booktubers' favorite books, and now I have this one, so I'm really excited. This is the one I'm the most nervous about, but I have it, and I'm excited to read. It's contemporary and friends, and they all like love each other and stuff. And I picked up 2 books, I think only 2, from the Dollar Tree. Always make sure to check your local Dollar Tree. Most of the stuff is not that great, but a lot of times you can find things that you would really be surprised about. So I found The Gauntlet by Holly Jennings. This is book 2 after Arena, and Arena is one that I really want to read. I read a different book called Arena because I thought it was her book and it was something else. This is like another like video game virtual reality type read. So I do need the first one, but I can just rent it from the library. And then a total cover buy, and I'm just so regretting this because I got this at the beginning of the month before it had 40 other books. But oh my god, look at this cover, it's so pretty. And it's called The Yoga of Max's Discontent. Like a travel journey with like yoga and food and traveling, and I don't know. It's really short, so I'll probably give it a try at some point because it's just too beautiful to let go. The Grey Wolf Throne and The Crimson Crown, both by Cinda Williams Chima. I traded these again last year, and I do really want to read Cinda Williams Chima, and I have a couple of her books now. I just can't decide which series that I want to start with. Oh, hope you guys are hanging in there. I'm getting a workout. Finally found Legend by Marie Lu and The Rose Society, and this one, I don't know if you guys remember from my February book haul or December book haul, this one actually is The Rose Society. I bought this a couple months ago, and it wound up being Empress of a Thousand Skies with the Rose Society Just jacket, which is really annoying. But I found them both now, and I need to read Marie Lu like super bad. Have Prodigy and Young Elites as well. Also picked up Jane Steele, a novel by Lindsay Fay. This is like about a retelling of Jane Eyre, except that she's a gutsy, heroic serial killer. So this is an adult thriller, I think, something like that. Heard great things about it. I need to read Jane Eyre so I can get into this one ASAP. Found a couple books that I'm saving for the fall that I'm really excited about. So I found The Dead Tossed Waves by Carrie Ryan. This is an ex-library edition, but I managed to clean it up pretty good. The companion To the Forest of Hands and Teeth, which I wanted. That was like one of my top priorities for the fall, and I didn't get to it, but now I have the companion novel, so I have more motivation to read it. But this is like scary zombies meets like Type the Village, and I don't know if it's going to be my taste, but I really want to try it out anyway. And then I found A Darkness Strange and Lovely by Susan Dennard, and I think this is book 2 in the series. I hope it is, because I have book 1, and look at these covers. Oh my god, that's so beautiful. This was also X Library, but look how good I cleaned it up. So don't shy away from X Library, because there's the only thing I couldn't get off of this one was like the inside. So I might do a video on that, but this is, again, another like historical fiction novel, but like with zombies in it. I don't know if I'm a zombie person, but we're trying it out this fall. I found Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. Okay, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I technically really didn't like this book. I think I gave it maybe 3 stars still because the writing was still pretty good, but I had such a hard time with this book. It was like one of me and my husband's like most like irking books, but I feel like Jeff really influenced me on my opinion of it, and I have the second book in the series now that I want to read because it follows a character that I really liked in here, so I may give it a reread. If not, I'll just trade the duology for something else, but they're so beautiful. Don't judge me. Found A Whole New World, A Twisted Tale by Liz Braswell. I have not been able to find her books very easily, and I have 2 more coming in on a trade. Technically this should have been in my retelling pile, but I put it closer to the more exciting books. This is a Aladdin reimagining. Oh, and it's so beautiful. I plan on reading the original Aladdin and Arabian Nights and all that stuff pretty soon in time for the movie. I'm so excited. This is my husband's favorite Disney movie. Woohoo! I found A Map of Days by Ransom Riggs. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive with deleted scenes in it, and I paid a little bit more for this one, but it's only like a few months old. So now I have the complete Miss Peregrine's series until they come out with the next book, and I need to keep going on, but I do really enjoy this series, especially for like the fall. It has pictures, that's what I'm trying to show you, but I can't find them. Oh, woohoo! I found Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is a Throne of Glass novel, and I'm so excited because I decided to physically read these instead of audiobook them. And now I have 3! Finally! Sarah J. Maas is so hard for me to find. 2 Queen books. I found The Queen of the Tierling by Erica Johansson. This is book 1 in the series, and I can't remember if my girlfriend really liked this one or the next one. She liked one and didn't like the other, but I'm interested in them both, of course, because that's just who I am. So I also found The Star-Touched Queen by Roshni Chokshi. Look how beautiful! I was so excited to find this one. Yay! Let me know which one you guys like more. Lastly, hope you guys are still there, my 2 most exciting finds for me personally. I found Dreams of Gods and Monsters. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and it has Laini Taylor's artwork and signature book plate. I'm so silly because I was gonna get this to trade or sell, and then I forgot that I didn't have this one because I have the other 2 in the series, and I forgot that this was the one I needed. So yay, I have a complete collection. This is a little bit beat up, but it'll be fine. So yay, this is one of the series that I read last year in the springtime and absolutely loved, and this was the only book I found this month that I already read. So lastly, I found A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Again, can't find her very easily. Paid a little bit more for this guy, but it was like in near perfect condition. I'm going to read ACOTAR first. Well, obviously before this one, but before I read Throne of Glass, just because it's shorter and I probably am gonna like it more. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I can finish it this year, but I have ACOTAR and this one now, so I'm only missing the last one, but I'll just get it from the library if I don't find it in time. Okay, that was my ridiculous March book haul. I am just praying to the gods that I do not have a part 2 to this book haul, because I have been known to do part 2s in the past. I just don't like to do book hauls that are more than like 40 books really, but especially 50 books. I got a lot of these like in one day, so that wasn't too good, but I have a lot of haul videos coming out. It's just out of control, but there'll be a lot of unhaul videos coming out, and I'm just steering into the curve. I like collecting books, so you know, that's just how it is. I just gotta find a way to not let the unread books stress me out. Okay, let me know if you guys are able to find books for super cheap, if you like collecting them, or do you prefer reading ebooks? Do you prefer the library? Because I still use the library all the time because I'm so book budget conscious. Like, I would not be buying books like this if they weren't like ridiculously cheap. So make sure to check out that book budgeting video that I posted down below in the description. I'm very sorry for those of you that have watched my 2019 bookshelf tour that should be out already, because it's basically completely different now because I have 50 more books and I've read books and I've traded books, and that's just how it goes. Anyway, I'm sure this video is forever long. So thank you guys so much for watching. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and sometimes on the weekends. See you guys next time on The Bright Side. Bye! Okay, let's see. That's gonna fall. Oh, I'm still recording. Cool.